So what do we get in more miniseries? First of all, Finn doesn't have a humanoid arm ever again. He now has a bionic arm. Kind of giving out a little bit more of Penn Weatherton's fetish on his approach on fatalism. Then we got the Island miniseries, which is Finn, Jake, BMO, and that character named Susan Strong finally going to an island where we finally see where the humans were. We finally see Finn's mom, which was touching in a way, I gotta agree, and that gave a little bit of respite on Finn, and we also get to see that Martin, as much of a conny artist asshole that he wasn't too much of a bad parent, let's say. He was kind of like a double-sided guy. And after that, of the Island episode, we got another miniseries, and the miniseries is called Elements, which apparently there was this one-shot villain that appeared before that it managed to have Princess Bubblegum, Flame Princess, Slime Princess, and what was the other princess that was important? You know, oh yeah, she was kind of like the Ice Princess or something like that. She made Ook go unstable, and it kind of became an elemental nightmare, and it was crazy, and it gave LSP a moment to shine, and kind of her own way to become a hero. And after that, we finally got a few more episodes of the series. But they decided to give out one more villain to the series, and that is none other than Uncle Gumbold. I think that was the name of the character. Yeah, Uncle Gumbold. He was technically Princess Bubblegum's uncle, in which it is showing how can I explain this character? It is a character that appears kind of doing some kind of mischief to Ooh, and later recruit Fern, because Fern was having a little bit of a crisis in himself, a crisis of identities, then which he wanted to be like Finn, he wanted to be heroic, but feels that he failed, especially after the element event. So he kind of later becomes this guy's bodyguard, and it is shown later that this guy, he was technically very ambitious but kind of power hungry guy that Princess Bubblegum created when she was a lonely child. She wanted to create some kind of family, but sometimes he gets a little bit of that Pygmalion syndrome, that he thinks that he's better than the creator. He wanted to create his own kingdom. He wanted to create mischief, and that technically leads to the final regular episode of the series, in which because of some shenanigans, he declared war to the Candy Kingdom with his own Candy Kingdom, and Finn and Jay kind of are the mediators. But of course, during that whole time, we also patch other things up. Like, for example, we finally see that Jake's powers came from Space Demon, in which Jake finally confronted later. We also patch up with the last remains of the Lich that even tormented Sweet Pea. And we got a little bit of a cliffhanger in which Betty tries to find a way to bring Simon Petrikov back from his insanity of being the Ice King. We have all these elements, all finally lead to the final episode, which is called Come Along With Me. And we had to wait May, June, July, August, 5 months to finally get it. 5 months! Do you understand? That's how ludicrous that organization Adventure Time was. I don't care if you had to wait for Labor Day or the next Labor Day. I mean, from what I heard from production notes, they finished the final episode like a year ago. That's unfair. I mean, what do you want it to? What do you want it? You wanted more Teen Titans? You wanted more Steven Universe? A show that, despite I respect, I don't watch? I mean, not even regular show had that kind of treatment. And by the way, I was one of the few guys who absolutely really cried and was happy on the regular show. Regular show proved to be a great show. But okay, let's calm down. Now a few days since I saw the last episode, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought that it did make well use of a lot of things to patch up the whole series. Not exactly completely, but it did a good job. The only thing that still kind of bothered me is that Finn and Flame Princess didn't patch up to become lovers again, but that's a little bit of a nitpick out of me. But like many people even said, I kind of expected that the finale was going to be very bittersweet. And yeah, it patched up two of the most important elements that the series had. First of all, we had the war between Princess Bubblegum and Uncle Gumball. And it did that. And in this case, Finn, now being a character who matured during the whole series, he tried to be neutral without resorting to any kind of violence. Well, he did try to punch things out, but it was more like self-defense. So I'm kind of glad that he did some things like that, even though being an extremist pacifist is not always the right answer. But okay, the series kind of earned that. It really earned Finn being now a mature and wiser character, that he always tried to look for an alternative in which everybody can be happy. And yeah, it ended up patching some things, everything. Even though one of the characters didn't hopefully learn his lesson. He was always going to be a backstabber, showing that not everybody can be a good person. But gladly, I'm talking about Uncle Gumball. I'm glad that this character, then he gets his comeuppance. But then, in the second half, we have the other problem. The problem of Betty. Betty kind of summoned this intergalactical H.P. Lovecraftian monster that is going to destroy the land of Ooh. And everything is because he was trying to bring the Ice King back to his senses. And she was kind of using Normal Man, a character that was before in the series. And yeah, there's so much convolution that I'm not going to bother to go all the way around. And during the whole war, we got finally our shipping. Princess Bubblegum and Marceline, they give out their lesbian kiss. And a romantic. See what I mean? I heard that there was a lesbian wedding on Steven Universe, but if Adventure Time could have aired that final episode months before that will be kind of becoming the first. Okay, I kind of screw up on that my arrangement of sentences. But then I gotta admit that I was kind of sad of how the series resulted, because in the end, yeah, they saved the world. But unfortunately, it wasn't Finn or Jake who saved the world, considering that they are the heroes. It was Vimo. And apparently, because that Lovecraftian monster was a creature of discord, they wanted to. The creature was counterattacked by music. Everybody begins to sing. Apparently, also Simon finally gets back to his old self, and Betty decides that in order to get rid of that monster, which cannot be killed easily, she decided to make a wish on the Ice Crown, and she decides to become one with the monster and leave. So Betty sacrificed herself, and Simon is back to normal. Oh yeah, and the crown gets dropped, and a character that I forgot to mention, which is the Ice King's penguin called Gunther. He kind of turns into the next Ice King. And then the series kind of begins to wrap up things. Like, for example, Finn makes peace with Fern. Fern, because of the whole thing that happened, he dies. He gets planted on where Finn and Jake lived, which was a tree house that got destroyed during the final episode. And yeah, we get also kind of like a flash forward of this really grim future in which we get kind of like a new generation of Finn and Jake, but this time it's a cat and a bloated dog. All this was told by the perspective of Bimo, who kind of became the king of Ooh. And then the series ends with the end credits song of Come Along With Me, giving us a montage of all the characters wrapping things up, and it ended. It ended happily, but at the same time, kind of gave me a little bit of a bittersweet taste. I don't know. There was something about this ending that kind of rubbed me in the wrong thing. Even though it did end it well, I liked the ending. But I think personally, I gotta say that I think regular show had the better ending, because the regular show ending was it felt a little bit more epic, and the main character actually took part on the final battle. And you know what? Now that I think of it, both characters both series ends with with a character dying and sacrificing themselves for the greater good. But I think that the regular show is much sad because it's a character that grew up with almost every single episode. And in Adventure Time, it's a character that was kind of, let's say that once in a while, and it kind of became like an incidental villain. And talking about Betty, but in regular show, it had a character named Pops who we shared during a long journey, almost every single episode, and that felt much sadder compared to Adventure Time. But that's just me. And that's technically what I can say about my whole memory lane ride of Adventure Time. I am sorry that I had to talk about it for a long time. That so much that I had to divide this reminiscence for two parts. And I think that it's getting longer enough that I think I have to wrap things up. And considering that I didn't mention a lot of things that Adventure Time had, I even forgot to talk about another favorite character, which is Peppermint Butler, who was kind of like the most satanic of all the characters, but he was so awesome. Well, that's it. You know what time it is? It's time for me to finish things up. So, to Pedal to War, Jeremy Shada, John DiMaggio, Jessica D'Amico, and Tom Kenny, and every single character at Adventure Time. It's been a long journey, but I gotta thank you all for giving me a great time. With Adventure Time finished, it kind of feels like it ended a generation of good cartoons for Cartoon Network. Some people still have Steven Universe. I still have a little bit of The Amazing World of Gumball. but nothing is gonna top what Adventure Time gave us. So, Finn, I hope you are happy to become my guest character. So, what time it is? It's time to say goodbye.